Welcome back to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. We are in episode 101. As always, I do want to remind y'all that if you want access to the prep repository and videos early, you can go ahead and hit that membership icon below. And then if you do want access to the private repository after you become a member, please make sure to go into the community tab on my channel and comment on the post saying that I need your GitHub username. That way it can add you to the repository. So that being said, let's get into what we worked on in this episode. Today, we continue working on the feed post creator component, starting out by setting up all of the CSS to make the post creator look and feel like Twitter's component. Then we move forward with making the post creator component more dynamic by setting up the content box to expand as you type in it, and setting up an active state which will enable us to disable and hide the content that is only shown in the post content creator when someone has clicked on that component. As always, I'm Ethan, an encoder, and let's hop straight into development. A lot to do. So let's go ahead and go into our CSS. So dash feed dash post dash creator. So this is going to have a width of 100%. The height is going to be fit content because this one expands. Our display will be flex. Our padding is going to be 4px. And it's going to have a border dash bottom of 1px. Solid, and this is the kind of like light gray color, E1, E8, and then ED. So it's kind of like a light gray color. We take a peek. I guess you can't see, I think the underline is, I don't know where. And let's double check that we imported the CSS. We did not. So go ahead and our thing is all out of whack, but import. And this is going to be /feed post creator CSS. I kind of want to see the changes as they come in. There we go. Now we see the line on the bottom looking good. So now obviously this profile picture is way too massive. So we'll go ahead and fix that. So now we'll say .feed dash post dash creator dash PFP. So now we're going to have a width of 40px, a height of 40px, a border radius of 100%. It's going to have object fits of cover. It's going to have a margin on the top of 11px and a margin on the left of 15px. These are arbitrary numbers that I thought looked good, so there's nothing special about them. But as you can see, now we got the little guy there, or the little profile picture, so it looks good. All right, now we got our .feed dash post dash creator dash right. So the right side, beside that profile picture, we'll say width 100%. Take up 100% of space we have. Our margin on the left side will be 15px, so just give a little bit of spacing away from that profile picture. We'll also add a margin top of 10px. We're not going to be able to see much now, so we'll set up a little bit more. So next, feed dash post dash creator dash audience. So this is going to be a display of flex. It's going to have justify content in the center. It's going to align items in the center of it. Whoops. It's going to be a width of 108px. It's kind of random, but that's what Twitter has it as. The height will be 24px. And then we're going to have a font size on this of about 14px. We're going to have a color, which is the blue. So 1DA, 1F2 should be Twitter blue. It's going to have a small amount of padding, about 2px. It's going to have a border on it. So the border is going to be 1px. Whoops, px. Solid, and it's going to be a B8, C2, and then it's going to have a border radius of about 50px. And we also want to set up the hover on this .feed dash post dash creator And this is going to be colon hover. Actually, we want dash audience first. Colon hover. And this is going to have a background color of RGBA 29, 161, 242, 0.1. And it's going to have a cursor, a pointer. Now, assuming that I set this all up properly, you should see we have our little circle guy. And if we take a look at X, it does, or Twitter, X, whatever, it does something similar. So it's looking decent. Cool. So now we need to figure out what's going on, what's good with this input. So back inside here, let's do the inputs. So feed dash post dash creator dash input. And this is going to be resize to none. So we don't want to be able to resize it. Overflow is going to be hidden. And then we're going to have a font size of about 20 px. We have a border of none. Margin top of about 15 px. We're going to have a margin bottom of about 10 px. We're going to have a background color of white. And finally, we're going to have a font weight of 400. And we also want to go ahead and get rid of the focus. So feed, post creator, inputs, and colon a focus. So whenever someone clicks on it, we want to make sure that the outline is none. So whenever people click on this, you can't see the outline, you can't resize it. It just kind of looks like how Twitter looks. Awesome. Now what we have left is we need to do kind of this reply, and we're not going to do the drop down part. We need to do the icons, and then we can start making it more dynamic basically. So inside of here, the next thing we need to do is do the feed dash post dash creator dash reply. And then this will be a width of 170 px according to Twitter. A height, once again, of 24 px. It's going to have a padding of 2 px. It's going to have a display, a flex. It's going to have a justify content of center. It's going to have an align items of center. It's going to have a font size of 14 px. And it's going to have a color equal to hashtag 1D A1F2. And then some font weight of about 600. So there's that. And then we need the hover. So dot feed post creator dash reply colon hover. And this is going to be a border radius of 75 px. It's going to have a background color of RGBA and at 29. Right? It's going to be the blue color and a cursor of pointer. So now we got this one good to go because it looks just like this. And if you actually go into Twitter, it looks similar. So it just has the blue outline. We come in here, it just has the blue outline. The margin might be a little bit scuffed, but we can look into that. Let's see. Did I miss something? Let's double check. Font size, height, padding. Let me double check everything. Adding 2 px. Feel like we might want to get rid of some of this margin on the input because it looks like it's a little bit off. Although that didn't change anything. Oh, you know what? I need to just change. So it's going to be outside of my control at this point. I'm just going to rock with it because there is going to be something that we changed a little bit that should fix that. So now let's do the icons and things like that. So dot feed dash post dash creator dash, and this is going to be bottom dash icons. Let me make sure I didn't miss bottom. Okay, no. So this is going to be width 100%. Gonna have a height of fit content. It's gonna have a margin top of about 13 px, a padding top of about 10 px. Gonna have a display of flex It's going to have justify content, space between, the symbol border, top. And it's going to be 1px solid, and this is going to be E1, E8D. So there's that. So it should start. Flex. Let me double check something. Oh, I spelled icons wrong. There we go. There we go. So obviously it's a little bit scuffed right now. We'll fix that, I think anyway. This is slightly different than what I have. So I'm going to change this from space between for a little bit because I think that this is not quite right at this moment. I think that we're going to set up a little bit different stuff in a little bit. So now that looks a little bit better. And also, I believe that what we need to do is move this button up to be included in this box as well. Let's go ahead and move that button up. I believe that that's in the wrong spot because this should also be beside those, because if you look at Twitter, it has these lined up and beside it. So cool, that looks better. So now obviously we just need to fix this up and make it a little bit prettier. So now inside of our feed post creator.css, we're gonna have to come back and fix a couple things. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna say dot feed dash post dash creator dash icon dash bg. So this is gonna be a display of flex. And it's going to justify content in the center and align items in the center. And we're going to have a width of 34px. We're going to have a height of 34px. And we're also going to have a border radius of 100%. Then we're going to have a dot feed dash post dash creator icon bg colon hover. And what we're going to do in the hover is just have a cursor, a pointer, and we're going to have the background color equal to the RGBA of this. So now we're about to the point where we are done for now. And you can see how it hovers. Now again, we need to work on this. We need to fix this up a little bit because it's kind of expanded where it's not supposed to be, and the button needs fixed. Let's go ahead and set up the last little bit of CSS. So if we come back into here, dot feed dash post dash creator, and this is going to be dash post dash button. So this is going to have a margin dash right of 25px. It's going to have a width of 80px. It's going to have a height, of 36px. It's going to be a little bit bigger than Twitter's button, but I like the look of it better this way. It's not going to have a border. It is going to have a border dash radius of about 37px. And honestly, this should probably be 40. I'm going to say 40px here. And then we're going to have a background color of the blue. And then we're going to have a color inside of white. We're going to have a font size of 15px. And finally, we're going to have a font weight equal to 700. But it also is going to have a hover effect. So feed dash post dash creator dash post dash button colon hover. And this is just kind of a cursor, a pointer. It's going to have a slightly darker background. So background color is going to be 1A 91 DA. So it's just a slightly darker color. And if we go into our footer, whenever we hover, you see it gets slightly darker. And all of these kind of light up. And I don't know that the margin on the left actually worked. Should have margin left too, but I think I'm also going to change this up a little bit. We need to make it a little bit more dynamic because it kind of moves things around and stuff like that. So let's hop back into our code here. So we're going to go back into feed post creator.tsx, and we're going to set up a couple of things for the actual text area and whatnot. So inside of our function, we're going to go ahead and make a ref. So we're going to go ahead and say const text area, area ref. This is going to be equal to use ref. And this is going to be an HTML text area element. And this needs to start out as null. Then we're going to make it so it grows automatically. So we're going to say const auto grow. And in here, this is going to be an arrow function. And this is what's going to make the text area grow for us. So we're going to say if our text area ref and our text area ref dot current. This is a TypeScript thing. You have to do it like this. So we're going to go ahead and say text area ref dot current dot style dot height is going to be equal to 25px. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say text area ref dot current dot style dot height is equal to text area ref dot current dot scroll height plus px. So this is going to automatically size the text area to be the same size as what it needs to be for how much text is inside of it. So now we need to kind of modify our text area a little bit. So I'm just going to make some space here. So we have our class name, we have our placeholder. Then we're also going to go ahead and have a ref is equal to our text area ref. We're going to have an on change. So anytime we put something in there, we're going to go ahead and auto grow. And we're also going to have the amount of columns is going to be equal to 50. So we can go basically 50 characters across, and then the max length is going to be 256. So I believe that's what the current Twitter max length is. That should be fine. So if we go ahead and hop back in here, this is still a little bit big. So it's because we might need to go ahead and make it 25px in the height, because let's see, feed post creator, what is the current height, and do we set the height? So creator, where's our input? We didn't. I'm gonna go ahead and set a height here to 25px because it looks a little bit odd. But now when we type, as you can see, it gets bigger, smaller. It's good and fine. Cool. So that fixed that. So now we need to set up a couple of things because things change and switch around whenever you actually click on it. So if you actually go ahead and go into actual Twitter and refresh, hopefully nothing bad pops up because for you is awful sometimes. But it looks like this, but whenever you click on it, the everyone pops up, this one pops up, and whenever you type, some stuff goes in there. So we're going to go ahead and set it up so that we can actually make that dynamic work. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and grab use state from React, and we're going to set up a couple pieces of state. So first we're going to say const active and set active. So this is just going to be equal to use state of a Boolean, and this is going to start out as false. And then we're going to have a const post content and set post content, and this is going to be equal to use state. This is going to be a string, and this is going to be the actual content inside the text box, basically. Cool. So first we're going to go ahead and do is be able to set active. So const activate is equal to a arrow function, and this is going to be if it's not active, then we're going to go ahead and set active to true. So that's going to happen whenever we click on the feed post creator. So this is just going to have an on click equal to activate. Cool. So now whenever we click on it, it'll set to active. So now what we're going to need to do is we need to set up some stuff on the audience and stuff like that. So we have our feed post audience. So what we're going to go ahead and do in this one is we're going to, and let me just make sure, okay, we're going to wrap this in here like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say active question mark. If this is the case, we're just going to keep feed post audience active. Otherwise, we're going to keep feed post audience active as well, but we're also going to put hide. So we don't want to show it. And we're going to do something very similar as well to the text area. So the text area, we're going to go ahead and wrap inside of curly braces as well. And this is going to say active question mark. So the text area, active question mark. So if it's active, we're going to put input active. Otherwise, we're going to have feed dash post dash creator dash input. So that one's good to go. We need also on reply. So this one kind of goes away as well. So we're going to go ahead and put reply on here. And then we're going to go ahead and say active question mark. So if it's active, we'll go ahead and keep that. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and say hide as well. So we're going to throw hide in there. And I believe that's everything we need to fix. We are also going to go ahead and change this icon BG to creator location. We're also going to go down to this button, and the button's also going to have some change to it. So the button, we're going to do this, and I'm going to do one of these. And for the class name, we're going to wrap this inside curly braces. We're going to go ahead and see if there's post content. So post content, if it's equal to an empty space, question mark. So if that's the case, we're going to go ahead and have just the button. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and copy this again. And this time we're going to go ahead and put post dash active. Right. And then we're also going to go ahead and say disabled. So we're going to go ahead and say if post content is equal to nothing, once again, it'll be disabled. So nothing will happen if you try to click on it. So now nothing's going to really change in here because we haven't actually hit anything yet. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go back into our CSS to set up the dynamic part of this. So back inside of our feed creator.css, we're going to go into feed post creator input, and we're going to make some changes. So once again, resize is still going to be none. Overflow hidden. So height should be 30 actually. Border none, background white. And we're going to get rid of the margin top and bottom. And then what we're going to go ahead and do, let me copy this. We're going to go ahead and say dot input dash, nope, it's just input like a type dash active. We're going to put that back in. So whenever it's active, it'll be slightly different. So if we refresh, this is what it looks like. We click on it, it adds some spacing. So that's all that's doing. Now we're going to go ahead and change something with the dot. We did add a dot icons border. So I think I missed one thing, and this copies this border. So let me fix this, and we can go ahead and probably add justify content space between again. Might be okay now. So we need to go back into our TSX, and I believe that on the bottom, so here we also need to set this up. So if this is active, it's going to be slightly different. So again, active question mark. So if it's active, we're going to have icon border on. Border. Otherwise, there's going to be feed post icons. The border should only show up if we are active. So let's see if this one actually wants to work or not. There's no bottom or margin. My goodness, no border. We hit it. I still don't see a border. Whenever we click anywhere inside of here, we do on click, set active to true. So technically it should be working. So it is active. So for some reason, the margin or the, let's see, border, it's supposed to be icons border. Let's try this. There we go. Okay. And we'll fix all of this stuff and make it look better and everything. Actually, I think that's all it's supposed to look like, actually. If we go to Twitter, yeah, it ends right there. And technically, it's supposed to end closer. So we can fix that as well. But, okay, that's working. Cool. I can't spell. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially at that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.